All right. Hey guys, Mr. Kyle, Myers Mathematics, and let's just jump right into it. This is a worksheet on factoring trinomials, and I have a method for this that I like. There's a couple different good methods, but I don't know if I'm going to do all of the different methods. Might dabble a little bit here, show you a couple different ones, but there's one that I use that I really like, and it's really quick, and I think it's pretty much the same as all the other methods because at the end of the day, you're doing the same thing because you're getting the same answer. So let's jump into one of the first ways that I think people normally factor these guys, and that is using a box. That's supposed to be a box there, but so what they say is okay. We need to get factors. So we have b squared, or sorry, b because we want b there. So b goes here. And it's almost like a puzzle. Um, so b squared goes here, so we know we want like b times b. And then over here we've got 7. So we need to have like numbers that get to 7. Um, and so what we do then is we put like, you know, numbers that multiply to 7. Well, there's only two things that multiply to 7. There's 1 and 7. And let's see what happens. So if we multiply 7 by b, I get 7b. And 1 times b is 1b. And it looks like that would work because I would have b squared and 1b and 7b and 7. And that the 1b plus 7b would be 8b, right? So doing it this way is, and maybe you've done a square method before and it's not exactly like this. There's actually several different square methods. This is one of the square methods. I'm not going to do all of them because there's too many, and I don't really like the square method. But I'm doing it anyways because if you like the square method, I'm not going to judge you, promise. But this basically splits it up for us, and then we see what the factors are supposed to be, and then we see what the answers are supposed to be. Basically, here's the answer: b plus 7, and then b plus 1. And those are the answers. It's b plus 1, b plus 7. Okay? And there's really not that many other ways to do this. I mean, like I was saying, there's several different box methods, but here's the method that I like the best. You just write out the factors, and if you're not sure what factors add up to the middle number, you can just start with 1, right? 1 and 10. And then here's what you do. You basically just say, okay, well, I need to add or subtract or I need to get 10 when I multiply. So I do right now. But if I add these two numbers, what happens? Well, 1 plus 10 is 11. Oh, well, that's kind of the middle number, except the middle number includes the sign. So if there's a minus sign, then it's actually a negative 11. So this actually won't work. But we can make both the 1 and the 10 negative. Because if I multiply them, negative times negative is still a positive. Negative 1 times negative 10 is positive 10. And then if I add these up now, negative 1 plus negative 10 is negative 11. That works. So then here's what I do from here. I basically just put an in front of each one. That's why I have my factors way spaced out here. I space out my factors quite a bit. That way I don't have to rewrite it. And I just put some ins there and put parentheses around it and then call it a day. And that is the method that I use, that I like, and I like it way more than the box method. I'm actually not a huge fan of the box method. So I'm actually going to write out the steps for this as well, and that way you can see exactly how to do it, and maybe the steps will resonate with you, and maybe it'll help to see them written out here. So what I'm doing is I'm going to find factors of c, basically, right? So factors of c. And when I say c, I mean ax squared plus bx plus c, the last number, right? So factors of c, aka the last number. So if you're writing this down, you could just write factors of the last number, and that works fine. I was just running out of space, to be honest. So I just put c instead of the last number because that wouldn't fit on one line, and I guess I just felt like being lazy. But c is the last number, assuming it's in order. So factors of c, right? And then we need to basically add them all up. Add them up. Add them up. And that's what we did with number 2, actually. We did kind of step 1 and then step 2. And then we went back to step 1 and step 2. So I kind of, went back and like did 1, 2, 1, 2. You can do all the factors first if you want, and then add them all up. Or you can do like one factor, add that up, one factor, add that up. It's kind of up to you. But then we get to the third thing, which is we basically pick the one that adds up to the middle term. So we pick our nose. Just kidding. We pick the one that I'm gonna not do a number 1 because that might be confusing. We're gonna pick the one that makes B. That makes B, aka the middle number. So for number 2, that was -11. Okay. So step 1, find the factors of C. Step 2, add them up. Step 3, pick the ones that make B, and then basically we're done, because here's what we do. We're just going to go X. I mean, it could be some other letter. There's a bunch of different letters. We've had B and N so far, but I'm just going to put X because that's like the normal variable. So then it's just going to be X plus each factor, right? So X plus H, X plus K. I'm going to put H and K. H and K is usually like a vertex type thing, but it doesn't have to be. These are just the factors, right? These are the factors. Factors. Those are the factors that work, and that's pretty much it. You just do X plus one of the factors, X plus one of the other factors, unless, of course, it's not X, because in this worksheet, there's all kinds of different letters. So whatever the letter is, plus one of the factors, in parentheses, and then whatever the other letter is, plus the other factor. And when I say plus, I mean like plus, but if the factors are negative, like it was supposed to be a -1 and a -10, it would be X plus -1, which is the same thing as X minus 1. So it could end up being a minus if the factors or one of the factors is negative. So just a heads up there. Let's go ahead and apply this process to number 3. Now that I have the factors written out. Okay, so we want factors of C. And I'm actually just going to go in order here to show you what it looks like if you go in order. It's faster if you just kind of try to fly through the factors in your head, because it's, you can cycle through them a little faster that way. But if you're just starting out with this, then maybe you're not ready for that yet, and that's okay. 1 and 90 make 90. Okay, but that's it needs to one of them has to be plus, one of them has to be minus, right? So I need to add them up, but if it's -1 plus 90, then I'm actually kind of subtracting. And then step 3, pick the one that makes B. Okay, well, -1 plus 90 is 89. We are nowhere close to 1. We need to get 1. We need to get factors that make 1. So 2 would work. 2 and 45. Still nowhere close yet. 3 and 30. Still nowhere close yet. 4. Does 4 go in? Oh, actually, no. 4 doesn't go into 90. JK, LOL. 5 does. 18 times. And I'm actually going to erase this 89 over here, so that way I have space to do some more factors over here. So 5 works. 6 works. 6, and you might have to use a calculator. But what I do actually is I look at 3. So look at 3, 3 and 30, and then take half of 30. It's kind of a little trick. So 6 and 15, still not good enough. 7 doesn't work. 8 doesn't work. 9 works. 9 and 10. I think that's the last factor, and that happens to be the one we want. So I kind of didn't leave myself enough space here this time because there's so many factors of 90. This is why it's usually better to cycle through them in your head. And that's what I'll probably start doing. As we go along, I'll start solving them a little bit faster and faster until I get to where I'm solving them at the pace that I would solve them if I were just doing these sorts of problems on my own. Okay, so you can see what that looks like eventually. But for now, 9 and 10, except that has to be -9, +10. Right? -9 plus 10 is +1. Right? So step 1, factors, -9, +10. Step 2, add them up. -9 plus 10 is 1. Step 3, pick the one that makes B. -9 and 10 make 1. That's B. Now we're on to step 4, which is the last step. X minus 9. Oh, sorry, it's M, not X. I keep thinking X because that's what you normally do. It's fine. We'll play along. M. And there we go. Okay, on to the next one. Factors of 12. So 1 and 12. One of them has to be negative and positive again. Negative 1 plus 12 is 11. That's not going to work. 2 and 6. That works. Negative 2 plus 6 is positive 4. So then I throw some ins in front, and I'm done. See how quick that can be? Especially if there's not too many factors. 12 has a decent amount of factors, but 90 has a ton of factors. All right. 9 is 1 and 9. 1 plus 9 is 10, which is close, but I need negative 10, so I need them both to be negative. Negative 1 times negative 9, positive 9. Check. Negative 1 plus negative 9 is negative 10. Check. Throw some ins in front, and I'm done. Okay, 64. 1 and 64. 2 and 32. 3, no. 4, yes. 4 and 16. Nope. 8 and 8. Ah, yes. So 8 and 8. B plus 8. B plus 8. And actually, if they're both the same factor, we can rewrite it as b plus 8 quantity squared. Some teachers might require you to do that. Others might not care. Just kind of depends on who your teacher is. But some of them do. And if you're typing it into a program like IXL or Khan Academy or something, they might want you to put b plus 8 quantity squared. And they might not like it if you don't. So just a heads up there. You never know. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle through the factors in my head and then write them out. All right, so 1 and 24, I'm going to have to subtract because I have negative 24. I'm going to have one positive factor, one negative factor, so I'm going to have to subtract to get 2. 1 and 24, nope. 2 and 12, nope. 3 and 8, no. 4 and 6, yes. 4 and 6, negative, positive. Negative 4 times positive 6 is negative 24. Check. And negative 4 plus 6 is positive 2. Check. Throw some m's in front of each one, and I'm done. All right, same thing here. 1 and 24, no. This is positive 24 this time, so I have to add. So I have to add to get a negative 4. Actually, I don't know if that's factorable. 1 and 24, nope. 2 and 12, no. 3 and 8, no. 4 and 6, no. I don't think anything works here because we go through all the factors and they have to both be negative because we need to add up to a negative 4, but none of these factors work. 3 and 8, 4 and 6. And that's it. There's no other factors because 5 doesn't go in, and by the time you get to 6, you're just back over here on the 6, and then you just be repeating yourself. So I don't think there's any factors. At least not what's called integer factors. It's possible it's factorable, but on this worksheet, like nothing really crazy has happened until now, so I don't think it's factorable. If you wanted to know for sure, you'd have to put it into the quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And again, a, b, and c are the numbers. A is the first number, b is the second number, c is the third number. A is 1. It's the number in front of x squared. If you don't see a number, there's a 1 there. Not a 0. If you don't see a number, it's not 0. It's 1. 1s are ninjas. They're invisible most of the time. Half the time. Some of the time. I don't know. But anyways, negative b. B is negative 4, so this would be 4. Plus or minus square root of b squared. Negative 4 squared is 16. Minus 4 times a times c. A is 1, c is 24. 4 times 24 would be 48, 96 over 2, because a is 1, so it'd be 2 times 1. And it looks like that's not going to work out, because 16 minus 96 is negative 80. And I can actually stop there, because I can't take a square root of a negative, so there are no factors, no real factors at least. There are what would be called complex factors. So we can definitely stop there. You might not even need to do that if your teacher hasn't really had you do the quadratic formula to check if something actually factors. Then I wouldn't worry about it. But if they have, then that's what you would do. You would just plug it into the quadratic formula. And actually, you really only need to plug it into the discriminant, meaning the part of the quadratic formula that's underneath the square root. That would be the only place you have to plug it in to check it. Okay, did I change color? Oh, I did, but it's like a light green. Okay. So 1 and 40, nope. 2 and 20, no. 4 and 10, no. 5 and 5 and 8? Yeah, 5 and 8. There we go. 5 and 8. Boom, boom. K, K. And there we go. We're done. Okay, over here. 1 and 18? Nope. 2 and 9? Yes. 2, 9, A. Boom, boom. See how fast it is? If you can cycle through the factors in your head, it's a pretty quick method to factor these things. As long as you can cycle through the factors in your head. 1 and 56, no. 2 and whatever half of 56 is, probably no. 56 does not divide by 3 because 5 plus 6 is 11, and 11 does not divide by 3. 4, yes, I think so. I think that goes in. But I don't think that's going to work. I want to say 7 and 8. Yeah, 7 times 8 is 56. We need to get a -1 for the middle term there. So we need that to be negative, that to be positive. In. And then we're on to the next one. 6. It'd be 1 and 6. Ooh, no, it wouldn't. Because 1 plus 6 is 7. We need to get 5. So 2 and 3 minus, in, and then -2 times -3 is positive 6. -2 plus -3 is -5. So the reason why I almost put 1 and 6 is because if you subtracted 1 and 6, it would give you 5. But we can't subtract because if we subtract 1 and 6, that would mean that one of them is negative. And then if I multiply a negative and a positive, I get a negative, and I'd get a -6 when I multiply. This is a really hard one. You have to be really careful with a problem like this because 6, you can get 5 two different ways. You can get 5 by doing 1 and 6 and having one of them be negative, or you can have it be 5 by adding 2 and 3. But you can only do one of those options depending on if 6 is positive or negative. So be really careful on a problem like this, where you have a 5 and a 6. Okay? You'll either have to subtract or multiply to get to 5, or sorry, subtract or add to get to 5. So just be really careful with that one. Right, on to the next one. And we'll go ahead and switch colors too, why not? 8, 2 and 4. Negative, B, B. Boom, boom. And at this point, I'm pretty much going at the pace that I would go if I were solving these out myself. So I'm pretty much going at that pace now, even though we're not really close to the end yet. Oh, hey, speaking of, so we're getting onto a new thing here. We've got numbers in front. So before I was telling you how to factor this stuff, right? I was like, oh, hey, factors of C, add them up, do all that stuff, right? 4 steps, right here. The 4-step method. Well, the 4-step method is great, but if you're going to do any factoring problem, technically speaking, we just haven't had to do it up until now, but technically speaking, you would check for a greatest common factor and factor that out first before you try to do any other kind of factoring. And that's actually what's going on here. All of these numbers for number 15 divide by 2. So if I divide by 2, I divide each one by 2, I get 2n squared over 2, which is n squared. The 2's cancel completely. 6n over 2 simplifies to 3n. And then 108 over 2, I'm taking half of 108, which is 54. Okay, so I'm not actually done because I factored out a 2. Greatest common factor was 2, but now I still have to keep going. I need factors of 54, which are going to be 9 and 6. Yeah, 9 and 6. 9 minus 6 is positive 3. So those are the factors I want. And I still keep that 2 out front. I can't get rid of the 2. It has to stick around. You could get rid of the 2 if this was an equation, but it's not an equation, so we can't get rid of the 2. Okay. On to the next. Oh, wait, why am I switching color? Not switching color yet. So same thing happens here. Look for the greatest common factor. in order to find the greatest common factor, you basically just look for a number that all of them can divide by. I would just start with the smallest number and then just kind of go from there. So 5, do they all divide by 5? Yes. They all end in 5 or 0, therefore all of them divide by 5. So we take out a 5, we divide each one by 5. So that's going to be n squared plus, divide by 5, 10 over 5 is 2, 2n. 20 over 5 is 4. And, ooh, I don't know if I like this, because we don't have any factors that work here. 1 and 4 make 5, 2 and 2 make 4. I don't think that's factorable anymore. I think that's it, actually. We would stop here. Because there's no factors that make, yeah, that was a weird problem. I didn't like that. I like it when it keeps factoring. I guess it's less work, though, right? So even though it's like, feels like you could keep going, you don't have to. So that means there's less work. So, you know, bright side. All right, so 2. Everything divides by 2. So that's going to be k squared plus 11k plus 30. Sorry, my k's are so ugly. You'd think I'd be better at writing them since my first name starts with a k. All right, so that's totally an 11k. There we go. Factors. 3 and 10? No. 5 and 6? Yes. 5 and 6. K and K. And don't forget that 2 out front. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 plus 6 is 11. Then, oh, we have another one like this where you have the 90. We just did this one. I feel like we just did a problem. Wait, didn't we? Hold the phone. Hey, the phone. Yeah, we did that number 3. It's almost exactly like number 3. Come on. All right, anyways. So we need a negative 1, though, this time. So it's a little different. So we need a positive 9, negative 10 to make a negative 1. And then I just throw some A's in front. And I'm done. Next color. Darker red. Because why not? All right, here. 1 and 10. 1 times 10 is 10. 1 plus 10 is 11. I feel like they're getting easier. What happened? There were supposed to be numbers in front. Huh. Oh, hey, there we go. They're back. Divide by 5, 5, 5. So if we take out a 5, we would have v squared minus 6v plus 8. Yeah. And then 8 is 2 times 4. We need minus minus. So that way we get a negative 6. Negative 2 plus negative 4 is negative 6. V, 5. And there we go. All right, new color. So we can factor out our 2. 2, 2, 2, divide, divide, divide. We have p squared plus p minus 2. Minus 2 is 1 times 2. We need to get a positive 1, so we need a positive 2 and a negative 1. Put some p's in front. Leave that 2 out front as well, and that one's good to go. All right, all of these divide by 4. 4, 4, 4. V. Oh, wait, forgot to put the 4 out. There we go. V squared. Because we're dividing by 4. Minus v minus 2. Oh, look, pretty much the same thing as the last one. 1 and 2 minus plus v, and a 4. All right. We are blasting through these now. All right, I'm going to go back over to like an indigo kind of color here. And we want to get 50 this time. And I am not factoring anything out, because you only really need to look to see if you can factor something out if there's a number in front of the x squared, because otherwise you can't factor anything out. Unless it was like x cubed, but I haven't seen any of those, so, you know, it is what it is. 5 and 10. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 plus 10 is 15. Oh, I need them to be negative. Oh, finally an x. I feel like they should all have been x's. It's fine. Totally fine. Minus, minus, v. And last color. Nice purple color here for the last couple. Last 2. 3 and 6, I think. Maybe? Yeah, because then negative 3, positive 6, that would multiply to negative 18. Negative 3 plus 6 is positive 3. Boom. Boom. Down 25. And then, last one should be the hardest one because it's the last one. That's usually how that goes, right? If we factor out the 6, we get v squared plus 11v plus 10. So then the factors are going to be 1 and 10 because they add up to 11. V, V, and a 6. And that is it. I kind of wanted to check this one out over here. Number 16, it looked like it didn't go any further. It just factored out a 5. I kind of want to check that one out. So I was like, oh, that one's really weird. Oh, yeah, see? Number 16, they factored out a 5 and then they left it alone, just like we did. Yeah, that one was really weird. They felt like it should go further, but it didn't. And then number 8 was not factorable. Remember that? But that was the only one that was not factorable. Was number 8. The rest of them factored at least a little bit. Yeah, so this one, we didn't put not factorable as an answer. Your teacher might want you to, to show that, there's no factoring answer or whatever. And then, of course, your teacher might want you to box things in or do things like that. So obviously, don't do it exactly how I do it. Do it how your teacher wants you to do it so that you get the right answer. But I really like this method of just, finding the factors of the last number and then just putting the letters in front. I think that works really, really well. And I think your teacher will probably be fine with that. And then maybe just, if you need to box the answer or whatever, make your teacher happy so you get the grade. But yeah, that's actually it. So if this has been helpful, I have more helpful things on this channel, Myers Mathematics, and on my website, myersmathematics.com. Try to have lots and lots of awesome free resources for you guys, both on my website and on this channel. On my website specifically, I have a guide called The 5 Math Mistakes Everyone Makes and How to Avoid Them. Long title. I'm going to probably retitle it and make it a little less wordy very soon. But yeah, so go check that out. It's just a free PDF thing, and you just kind of go to the website and just tell me what email to send it to or something like that. So go check that out. If you think this has been helpful, and if you think that more of my resources could be helpful and help you in math class, go check it out and let me know what you think. You can either put a link in the comment in one of these videos, like this one. Let me know how you liked that PDF guide, or you can just shoot me an email and just tell me exactly what you think. You can be like, oh, it absolutely sucked. But if you tell me it sucked, at least tell me why it sucked. If you didn't like it, and that way I can continue to make it better because I tweak it from here and there, make it a little better over time. So, hopefully that won't happen. But if it does, I welcome it because I would always like to make all of my free resources better for you. So anyways, go ahead and do that. And if you want to leave a like or whatever, subscribe to the channel, you can. Don't really care too much about that. But go ahead if this content is helpful and you want to see more content like this in the future. And I'll see you in another episode real soon.